Breaking news. Boonville Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses closing and going out of business. The for sale sign will be up soon. Let me give you a little history about the Kingdom Hall in Boonville, Missouri. First off, it's the home of Joseph Rutherford, second vice president of Jehovah's Witnesses, where he lived, practiced law, and learned of the Bible students. A congregation began as an isolated group in 1960. The congregation was formed and the first Kingdom Hall was built in 1963 on 11th Street. A second Kingdom Hall was also built on Santa Fe Trail in the late 1970s. A third Kingdom Hall, this one right here, was built in 1995 on Ashley Road across from the high school. A very prime location, high trafficked location, prime real estate as far as Boonville, Missouri goes. Why it closed? Well, a number of reasons were given to the local congregation of 44 publishers. One, not enough elders, and we can't send anyone more in to help. Number two, the Columbia South congregation needs help with publishers and finance. Number three, the Boonville congregation itself needs help with their expenses. They have about $700 a month of expenses for the 44 people here. First of all, there's the cost of the satellite hookup. Then the monthly congregation tithe. A monthly building payment, even though the Kingdom Hall loan was paid off years ago. They have their monthly literature contribution, and of course the expenses of the circuit overseer, which include an expense for his automobile, his apartment, and expenses during his semi-annual visit to the congregation. They also have the assembly hall expenses, where there is an assessment of at least $6 or more per congregation publisher. And lastly, they do have their utilities, water and sewer, that they have to pay for, electricity and so forth. And a fourth reason why they claim the congregation needs to close is because it's no longer feasible financially to take care of this hall. It needs a new roof, needs new air conditioners, needs new carpet, which is far too expensive to replace. Of course, now the congregation publishers will be asked to travel 35 miles to a new location, Columbia South. So the question is, how would this be accomplished? How could a congregation and a building that has been here 50, 60 years be eliminated? Well, this is the steps that were taken. Systematically, all of the original elders were removed. Then they sent in some outside people. Then the Watchtower Society changed their financial policy with a congregation letter, which means that their policy just changed. Then they started layering on all kinds of financial burdens. Then they pulled a switch in the ownership of the Kingdom Hall. With all the original elders out of the way, they just named new persons to be the stewards of the ownership of the Kingdom Hall. So, without a vote from the congregation, they changed the congregation trust agreement. Just check out paragraphs 2B and 2C of this document, and you will clearly see that it must be done by a public vote at a regular meeting of Jehovah's Witnesses. But without any vote, not only to sell the Kingdom Hall, but also to disband the congregation and assign them to Columbia South. So, how did they do it? It's simple. All they did is make an announcement at the Kingdom Hall that it's closed to any further meetings and that they will be asked to go to Colombia. Why did they do it? That is the biggest question. Well, if you sell this Kingdom Hall, it would be a nice piece of money involved. It's a beautiful building and a beautiful location. They would sell this frontline property for the best dollar. What does the Watchtower do with this money? Well, by researching, you'll see publicly that they are investing in hidden international hedge funds. They have a new headquarters complex that they're paying for. And of course, they're trying to offset the new wave of alleged sexual abuse claims. For example, allegedly, there are 5,000 case files against 1,006 members in Australia alone. Now, who and where will the sheep be fed and nourished here in Cooper and Howard County, Missouri? This organization is in regression. Only the eyes of the believers are blinded. This is not the first such closing and land grab. It is rumored that in Chillicothe, Missouri, also Columbia, Missouri North is to be closed and sold. Other congregations in other states are similarly being closed and sold for the property. This brings up a number of interesting points. Charles Taze Russell, the first president of Jehovah's, or of the Bible students, once said, "We believe Jehovah for its backer, and while this is the case, it will never beg nor petition men for support. When he who says, 'All the gold and silver of the mountains are mine,' fails to provide necessary funds, we will understand it is time to quit." It can be definitely seen that Jehovah is not backing this organization. Joseph Rutherford, from this very town of Boonville, Missouri, made the famous statement in 1939, "Religion is a snare and a racket."